Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. They said we'd never be back. Nick, I was at the front. Rumors were true. They said we'll never be back. Guess who tried to stop me from being back this week?
Man, it's so hard. It would only be the most powerful force ever.
Well, you're correct. It was a 737. It was a plane. And guess who was flying that plane?
Who was flying it, Brett?
Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden was flying the plane. He flew it directly down the shaft of my penis and said, "You boys, you're dead. You're done to us. You're no longer." And I said, "Bruce, big fan of the Maiden." And then he goes, "Oh, wrong Brett. Didn't realize it was Brett from Flatstick. You can continue."
Oh, yeah, that's great, man. I know. And Bruce doesn't back off easily. He knows how to fly a plane.
When Bruce flies a plane down your piss hole, you know he's not fucking mucking around. And then he's like, "Wrong Brett once again. I'm so sorry." And then he was kind enough to drop off some fucking beer for us. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
The Iron Maiden beer.
Yeah. Having a bloody Iron Maiden beer. It's pretty good. I like it, man.
Dude, it's actually not bad. I mean, obviously, Bruce, guys, you've heard it here first. Bruce Dickinson didn't fly a plane down my piss hole. I made all that up. What do you reckon?
Man, on the Iron Maiden covers, they've always got the same guy. This guy. Yeah. His name is Eddie.
Yeah.
That dude's name is Eddie.
I didn't actually. You know how fucking stupid I am sometimes. It's just taken me a long time to click that the same person's on every cover, and I was like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, man. Yep. His name is Eddie, and do you know the plane that Bruce Dickinson flies? You know what it's called?
Iron Maiden plane?
No, Eddie Force One.
Yes, Eddie Force One. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's fucking good. Does he even have has he got Eddie painted on there?
Yeah. Eddie's on the side of it. Yeah, and I think he flies to all the tours. He flies all around.
Yeah, I've told you before, he's obviously famous for flying planes, but do you know who else is famous who flies planes?
Who else?
Who's the biggest celebrity you know in the world that has a pilot's license? Who would you think out of everyone in the world that you know? I'm talking 20
Cruise?
years. Tom Cruise, as if his little legs could touch the pedals. Come on, Nick. He's a little stubby. He'll be in a fucking UFO Scientology bullshit. You'll figure it out,
Yeah.
Hey, you know who's a pilot?
Who?
The Toadfish.
Toady. Really?
Toady. Jared Rebecki. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Have I not told you this before?
No.
I'm pretty sure we brought it up on Flatstick 100 times. Maybe it's another podcast I brought it up on.
Toady comes up a lot on podcasts, I think.
He does, but he's got a commercial. I was telling the boys at work. I'll tell you the same story again. Yeah. Don't give a fuck, right? Toady been on television for 21 years. I work on Neighbours Lighting sometimes. It was his 21-year anniversary, and they're giving out Toady stubby holders. And I know, I've still got it here. Yeah, and he was
sick.
Yeah, he was signing them. Like Toady was signing all the things, and I was like, man, how funny will it be if I get a stubby holder? I've got a mullet. He had a mullet, most well-known mullet. If I get a sign thing from Toady saying "Go fuck yourself" from Toady, like on the stubby holder, and I went up to him on stage, I was like, "Hey man, can you write "Go fuck yourself" sign Toady?" And he's like, "Yeah," and then he's like, "Love always." And I was like, God, you're such a fucking wimp, God, for such an Australian icon.
He's so skinny now as well. He should have kept the chub. He looks like an IT consultant now. Terrible.
Yeah, he's such a dork, man. And one day, he had this big fucking encyclopedia. It looked like a fucking phone book. And I was like, man, what the fuck is that? I said, as if Neighbours scripts are that in depth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he laughed. Hilarious. Fair enough. And then he's like, nah, it's actually like for a commercial, like it was like an avionics book or some shit about a plane. And he's like, yeah, I'm registered commercial pilot. And when I finished working on Neighbours, I'm going to fly for Qantas. And I was like, well, good luck. They're not flying at the moment, you dumb cunt.
Yeah.
But also, no one is getting on a plane when they see Toadie on the wheel, you know?
Oh, yeah, Toadie, cool. Yeah, a dude that's been doing Neighbours since he was like 16. Yeah, cool. Thank you. I'll just take a 360 out of here. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I know you got Toadie, but is Gumby available? He seems just as fucking stupid. I trust Gumby more.
This sucks. I thought fucking Dr. Carl was going to be flying this.
Nah. Dr. Carl just does cameos and just be. Oh well, apparently because you got to try to get him to do your cameo, didn't you? For your other podcast.
On Phone Hacks, we tried to get Dr. Carl to do a cameo, but he wouldn't do it, man. He wouldn't do it. It was terrible news. But I tell you, you did see it, Brett. I got a cameo from my brother, Max Cavalera from Sepultura.
Dude,
it was so good.
I love that so much. That's so good. Because Sepultura, I don't know, like, where would you say would sit in the fandom base of heavy metal rock and roll? Like, they're not Metallica, they're not Pantera. You know what I mean? What
sitting just under that. I'd say Sepultura were just under.
Yeah, but I don't think I love them, but I don't think they're as popular. You know what I mean? Like, as known as most other super groups or whatever the fuck it is.
I'd say they were nearly as known as Pantera. I'd say they were nearly that.
But my point was that
Pantera had a lot of rednecks and shit, you know?
Yeah, Pantera, but you'd never get one of the dudes from fucking Metallica on Cameo, but this cunt's on Cameo.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking sick. And I was like, he's just that notch. Yeah, you're like, yes! So good.
Max Cavalera. He's got a new band called Kill or Be Killed, and they sounded great. They got they're like a super group. They got a couple of other guys from a couple of other bands, and I listened to the first single and it was awesome.
Yeah,
so I think I'm going to buy it on vinyl and blare that shit.
That shit. How much did it cost?
I think it was $50. Yeah, $50. Because I'll post it on the Facebook page. I'll show you, man. It's the best. Have you seen Krusty Demons of Dirt 2?
Yes.
It was the best thing ever when the motorbike was just riding around in the dark, right?
Do you want to share screen? Are you bringing up something?
Screen.
Yeah.
So for those playing at home, so it was just a motorbike. The start just had a motorbike just driving around in the dark and real creepy music, right? Just real creepy.
Have I enabled share screening? This is every week. Yes, I've done it this week, guys.
Yes. So it just had this like spooky music.
How good are the graphics, by the way? Yes.
Yeah, it was so good. And then it was just this motorbike driving around in the dark. You're like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And then it just cuts to like, it's got Krusty Demons of Dirt 2. It opens to a landscape. Then a motorbike busts out of the landscape.
I forgot that. The water scene's sick.
And then it rides through fire onto water.
Yeah.
And Sepultura kicks in. And it is seriously the best thing I've seen in my whole life. I can't tell you how much I rewatched this scene. And see this jump, Brett. I don't see the up ramp on that. I don't know what that one is. Anyway, that's enough. But man, it was...
Is number 2 when Seth fucking poleaxed the bike into that crowd?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because that was at June's. I saw that sand dune look very familiar. I was like, oh, one of the worst. You're like, oh, but it was sick.
Because I hadn't seen Krusty Demons of Dirt 1. My dad bought me Krusty Demons of Dirt 2.
I think I started on 2 as well.
And he put it on at Christmas. Like, he got it for me for Christmas. And
he's like, move over fucking Jesus bullshit. This is the real religion.
I just got a motorbike. It was an XT 250.
Yeah, nice.
It was way heavier than, I was only like 12 and it was a 250 and it was really heavy. It was basically an ag bike.
Yeah.
And my dad showed me Krusty Demons of Dirt 2 and my life changed forever. I never knew a motorcycle could be in the air for that long. You know, those dune jumps, everything like that is.
The dune jumps are wild.
My whole life. I was like, oh.
I don't know what they've done but they just seem so natural. Like they'll just, only those guys could do them. You know what I mean? Because when you see a sand dune, you go up and you're like, eh. But when they were doing it, you're like, what the fuck? Was there like a jump hidden in the sand? Or they were just fucking going nuts, you know?
They were flying. And I don't know, Brett, we've got to do something where you and I we talk over Crusty Demons of Dirt 2 or something. But
I still reckon we got to do, when we're all allowed back or whatever, we should do a full night, like a movie night, and people can just come and we just play, like we go to the fucking Catfish or Coopers or some shit, and we just put Crusty Demons on and just have beers.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And because I could talk you through every scene. I've seen it that many times. I watched it nonstop.
I don't reckon I've seen it in 20 years. Maybe 15.
I remember there was a guy in my reading group at school. You know, you have your reading group for 20
It was a reading group and you guys were watching videos? Yeah. It sounded a lot like my reading group, brother.
And he was into motorbikes as well. And he looked at me like I was crazy because I showed him a CD and it was the CD of the Crusty Demons of Dirt 2 soundtrack. I'd ordered the soundtrack from America and I was in like year 9 or something. And I look like, he's like, what, you got the soundtrack to this?
Yeah.
How long did this take? I was like 3 months. I don't know. It was back when you had to cut the thing out of a magazine and send the money.
You know, I was just thinking of this awful soundtracks that people had in their youth, and my mum always on the pulse of what's hot and what her kids like. Mum got me the soundtrack to the film The Beach.
Yeah.
You know, the fucking Leonardo DiCaprio film, which I never watched. And then she's like, Leonardo DiCaprio, The Beach soundtrack. I was like, Mum, I don't know if I'm like listening to Metallica, Great Southern Trendkill by Pantera. I'm like, I don't reckon this is for me. Yeah.
The best running gag, I always talk about it, was the first girl I ever kind of went out with and was in love with or whatever. She was living in Brisbane and my mum was going up to Brisbane.
Just casually, I was just in love. She broke my heart.
Yeah, it was like a big deal. And I said to my mum, can you buy her this CD? It's PJ Harvey, Stories from the City, Stories from the Sea.
Yeah.
You can't fuck that up, right? Stories from the City, Stories from the Sea. PJ Harvey, amazing singer, right? My mum buys her A Song is a City by Eskimo Joe. What the fuck?
Mums rule. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Mums are always boss mode. Have you ever seen your mum just get ape shit angry? Like, because I always say with my mum, because my mum's from Newcastle in England, so it's like a working class town. And me, my brother and dad call it mum and Geordie mum. There's two different types of mum. So my mum's, works in, in schools with, kids with needs and shit like that. Helps them out, which makes sense why she raised me. But does all those type of things. Nicest woman in the world, right? But one time, me and my brother were playing on the fence, this fence on the back garden, and the fence broke or fell down, and it was me and my brother, but we just fucking ran away. And the mum's like, did you break that fence? And we're like, nah, there was someone else did something. We don't know what's going on. It must have been the other kids over the side. And then the neighbor rang, like from the back, this old cranky old lady rang up and rang mum. And I picked up the phone and she was angry. She yelled at me and I was like, and she's like, I want to speak to your mum. Put mum on. And mum's like, hi, hello. And then she goes, okay, yep. Put a hand over the phone. She goes, so just, you guys didn't break the fence, did you? Nah, mum, nah, didn't break the fence. Okay, so this lady's obviously giving mum a spray. And then she went into the room and me and my brother ran to the other phone, like picked up the other phone, turned it upside down, covered the thing. And she's like, if you ever fucking ring our house again about my kids doing something they fucking didn't do, I'll be over there. I'll be over there in 2. And I was like, who is this lady? And we're like, oh my God. We're like, there's Geordie mum. There's Geordie mum. You know? Doesn't fuck around.
That is so awesome. I remember my mum, it wasn't too long ago, actually. It was with like a member of the family, rang her and had a go at her. And she just went ape shit. And it was awesome. It was awesome. I was in the lounge room and I was absolutely mystified of who was on this phone, who was on the other end of the line. I was like, whoa.
Because I think all mums are great, but they got this fucking buffer line because they just, like having kids is hard and all that shit. And eventually they have this snap point and fuck. And it's not even about the fence. It's about the 4,000 other things that happened to them that fucking week that they had to put up with and deal with, like your fucking whatever shit husband, shit kids, and just going like, I will fucking break you. And fuck, I'd give you the hot tip. We both just ran and cleaned our room. We're like, I don't know what to do here.
Oh, man, that's so funny. That is great. Did she ever find out about it?
We told her, like, I think last year that we actually did break the fence. Like, it was so obvious. It's like, there's only two people whose fence is on the line. And it was it either there's like a 40-year-old dude who lived with his 60-year-old mum, saddest cunt in the world. And he used to weld a lot in the shed, though. I was always wondering what he was welding. Or did he break the fence? Or did two ADHD kids that loved playing on the fence next door break it? I mean, it's pretty obvious we broke it.
I remember the coolest thing ever once was we'd make mum drive us around all the time with our motorbikes on the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
And one time she reversed a trailer in and all my mates were there. And they were like, man, your mum really knows how to reverse with a trailer on.
Dude, there is nothing hotter than seeing a lady reverse a trailer. Even like when a dude does it really well, you're like, man, that's hot. I don't swing that way, but that is hot.
Yeah, there was a guy. She just picked it, lined up, no swerves, straight back.
Yeah, I reckon I'm great at reversing a trailer because I had to do it up my awful driveway. You've been to my house in my old place that fucking hill, that hill. Reverse the trailer all the way up there. A nightmare.
Really?
Yeah. I'm the king. But I can't look at mirrors. I've got to be over the back, looking that way. So I can see it.
I got to do that. Yeah.
But I used to be able to do the double trailer because I used to work freight at Qantas. So you actually got to go normal way when you're reversing because it's like two counters. But there was a guy there whose claim was 16 trailers he could reverse that were connected.
Really?
Because that was a maximum, a tug. A tug is like this fucking diesel chomper of a thing. You see them, when you go to
those
airports.
Little things. Yeah.
They're called tugs, and they got a big fucking iron plate at the front, so you can just push it. If it doesn't go, you just fucking ram the cunt. They could just pull they pull planes. They're just fucking, oh man, they're just all torque. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And his claim to fame was 16 because that was a maximum trailers you were allowed to have connected. And they got a weird, and they weren't like actual on balls. They were kind of like a loose system, so they're a little bit more difficult. And I'd been like, he's a big fat guy. I think his name was Pud. And I was like, man, you can't do that. No one can do 16. And he did. He when he got the connection, and then he did an S-pack around obstacles. It was the longest thing I've ever seen in my life. And it didn't go for long, but it was just enough to stay control and get around something. I was like, who is this freak of a cunt?
Wow, man.
Yeah.
That's fucking sick.
Still one of the coolest things I've ever seen. So.
Oh, man. I used to be really good at reversing trailers when I worked on the farm because you'd always have to reverse.
I reckon once you stop, like for more than, you lose it. You lose it so quickly.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I think I could probably still do it, but it would take me fucking ages. I saw a beer that's called a Brett. Yeah.
It's called a double-aged Brett. Berlinger.
Okay, show us it.
Berlinger Whiz.
Oh, right. Oh, Bow Rocker. Right, nice.
Yeah, that's Starwood or some shit. That's that whiskey I drink. And,
Oh, yeah. Starwood's great. Yeah, I've been having a few of those.
Oh, yeah, 2.4. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if
Oh,
I'm a
yeah.
fan. I don't know if I'm a fan of it, but Jesus, put some bloody hair on your chest.
Oh, really? Man, I had this 10% of this
You
double
would
red
like it.
IPA the other day, and it destroyed me. I was like, "Phew, I'm gone." See
Well,
you later.
because before, the reason why we had the same beers is because I had to drop some podcasting gears off you. It was essential work. Drop some podcasting shit off to you, and I went and got some beers. And at McCoppin's, even though previously on this podcast I have slagged off a guy who worked there who's no longer there, and I said I will McCoppin one in the face for being a rude cunt to me. But the guys there are actually cool, and they proved how cool they were again today. They gave me a free glass, which was fucking sick. Big fan.
Yes, thanks for dropping off the beers.
Yeah, nice. And then this, I was mucking around when the guy was showing us all these different beers because my missus loves like dark beers, and I was like, oh, have you got a new dark one or whatever? And I was like, oh, can I have this Burnley one because I like Burnley brewing, and I was like $17 for a 4-pack. I was like, Jesus Christ, like that's a bit, it's getting up. He goes, nah, mate, 17 for one. And I was like, I couldn't figure it out, and I think I got you one as well. But have you looked at the percentage of this thing?
No.
It's 10%.
Holy shit. Thanks, brother.
I know. But dude, like how
All
wild
right.
is that? You have one drink and be fucking off your tits. It's like 3 standard drinks in one fucking can.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I had, that was like the one I had the other night. It was like 11 or 12, and I was just like, I felt high because, in beer, when you drink like that in whiskey,
Yeah.
you kind of feel like, I don't know, it's like petrol. It goes straight to your brain or something.
Yeah, but you also sip whiskey when you don't expect it on beer because you just drink it like you would like a fucking standard one. And the next thing you know, your body's like, have you just fucking smashed some methylated spirits or something?
You get this rad buzz. It's so good. Also, thank you so much to everybody sending in now, Brett. Look, let's get down to business.
Oh, fuck.
Get down to business. I got a great Ripper of the Week.
All right,
I'm sure you got a great Your Mate. But let's talk about some stuff.
Okay. I'm ready.
We've got a few dilemmas. All right?
What happened?
Well, we were thinking about buying a DR each, right? I've still got this guy. He's got a 91 model DR. I think it's got like 40,000 Ks on the clock, like a lot of Ks.
40,000 is not too bad for a 91.
Yeah,
You put in an offer for a DR this week, and I also put an offer for a DR this week. I was being a cheeky cunt. DR 650. I messaged you to confirm it was because apparently you're the DR expert. No. Fucking idiot. Anyway, 6,000 on the dial. He wanted 5, and I was like, the unregistered, and I was like, fuck, 4. I had 4 to go. I was like 4-2, and he's like, I'll see. Anyway, someone's picked it up. It's an absolute fucking steal of a. It was great. 6,000 on the dial. That's nothing.
Yeah, it was nothing, man. Nothing. So this dude's got 3,800. So I'm going to offer him 3. That's the verdict. I got it for all my mates. They're like, it's got panniers, windscreen, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, so the windscreen as well.
So it's quite an old bike, but it's got the panniers and everything. It's got a lowered seat, which is weird, but it doesn't matter. Okay, but we've got
a
that
lowered seat.
Yeah, I don't know what a lowered seat.
Does he mean the back suspension's lowered?
I think you can lower you can lower the seat. So for someone who's a bit shorter or who likes it a bit lower on the pegs.
Okay, interesting.
But also, Brett, some real beasts have popped up. Do you want to share the screen and look at this beast?
Well, I think you have I enabled share screening?
Oh, yeah, you have. Sorry.
I have enabled that for once.
Screen and show you this Ford Fairlane V8. Now, there's one.
Oh, that's good.
There's one I showed you, right, that was black and had a scoop.
The black scoop one that was on Facebook this week, honestly, I don't know what the Batman was thinking, but that cunt should have been driving that fucking car because it had that cool scoop. Man, it was a V8. It was beautiful.
This podcast has given me a whole new lease on life. I see a lot of Ford Mustangs getting around, like new Ford Mustangs. I see a lot of Holden Club Sports getting around because I've been doing a lot of work around the burbs, like brand new Club Sports. I saw a Pontiac.
I dragged a club sport the other day on the motorbike. Let's just say there's a reason I'm smiling. Fucking idiot.
And I saw this, like it's the Pontiac that is competing with the Mustang. There's one that looks exactly the same. I'm like, these people are so boring. You could save yourself 30 grand and buy yourself this Ford Fairlane V8, red mags.
And also, it's had a newish spray job within the last 10 years, and the paint they've used is very bad.
Yeah.
It's all fucking, it's flaky as fuck. Man, what are you going to get more tail in? A Pontiac? A Club Sport?
Yeah.
Or this?
Look at this. It's for those who don't know, it's a 93 Ford Fairlane Ghia V8. It is
Fairlane and the gear.
Cherry red.
That is no way, unless he's got the worst camera in the world, there's no way that's an original Ford red.
This guy cannot take photos for shit. He's taken a screenshot of the registration check.
Dude, should we report him stolen?
Man, it is so funny.
Man, and it's also got slicks on it.
Yeah, he's got slicks on it.
Or bold tires. Whatever, man. Slicks, bruh. Goes faster.
So, I mean, this would be pretty sick. So, look, we could get one of these for $5,000, you know?
$5's still a bit much.
$5's still a bit much, you reckon, for a Fairlane V8? Anyway, thank you so much for everybody. A lot of people have been sending in a lot of suggestions, going, "Hey, man, you got to get this. Hey, you should." But Brett, unfortunately, we did miss out on a stock standard XE, that blue one that had the what is it? The grill at the back on the back windscreen.
That fucking plastic piece of shit on the inside or outside? Are you talking about outside?
Yeah, outside.
Yeah. That thing that they just loved in that era. Like even Dad's Cortina had it. You're like, what is this? Like this. Like how many people? I mean, everyone who drives one of those cars has a mullet, as if their fucking back of their neck's gonna get burned. Get rid of that plastic piece of shit on the back of that fucking car. It was just like a plastic sun visor at the back of these cars. Like who needs it?
Anyway, we put it on the Facebook page. We're like, should we buy this? Everyone was like, you've got to get this.
Because I only saw it for a brief second and then it went.
It was $5,000 and it sold in like 3 minutes. And as my mate Adam said, you used to see these cars everywhere. Where are they?
Yeah.
Every second car was an XE.
Some beautiful island, you know? A beautiful island full of these beautiful cars.
Yeah, beautiful car island. Now, Brett, also, I'm going to get to, I've got a great Ripper of the Week for you.
I'm excited.
It is sensational. So, do the words rat fink mean anything to you?
No. Unless you mean a rat's sphincter, in which case, yes.
Yes. I know you love a rat sphincter. I know. Man, you're a big rat sphincter guy.
Dude, man, if people know me about anything, it's my rat sphincter. That looks sick.
Okay. Remember, this logo probably means something.
Why is that familiar?
Yeah. Rat fink, it's basically any dude, like any hot rod convention you go to or whatever, you'll see a cartoon of this green rat.
Yeah.
And there's always like, Wild Child, and it was all started by this dude called Ed Big Daddy Roth.
Yeah.
Oops. And so Ed Big Daddy Roth grew up in like the 50s or whatever, where they had those old T-model Fords.
Man, the T-Series, I still cream over them. I know Ford's a mass-produced car, but they have made some beautiful vehicles in their time. And the T-Series is a fucking, Jesus Christ, they're great.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So it's got them. It's got the M model Fords. Those really old beasts that they used to do up. Apparently, there was a lot left over from the war, and then a lot of war veterans came back, didn't know what to do with themselves, and they would race. That's what started the quarter of the mile thing.
Oh, nice. Have you also seen? Have we talked about Rust Valley or Rust Repo or some shit on Netflix at the moment?
No.
It's Rust Valley. It's this crazy cunt with blonde dreadlocks. I think it's called Rust Valley. and he's got 500 cars that he's bought. He's a psycho car collector. He's got everything in like every muscle car that's ever existed. It's in this lot because it's his spot. I think it's in like California somewhere because it's a desert, so no moisture and always warm. So it's a perfect conditions. You can just leave a car in the fucking forest and it won't ever rust because there's no moisture. Anyway, so it's this place called Rust Valley where it's got every old muscle car ever under the sun. And every week this cunt picks out a car and redoes it. And sometimes he does a fucking awful job of butchering a beautiful stock standard car by putting bullshit in that customers want. Yeah. But some weeks he does some great stuff. He's done some awesome Ford series in there, like the T's been in there. There's, man, so many different, like, crazy muscle cars that you forget exist in this cunt's fucking... He must have, honestly, I reckon about 10 million bucks worth of fucking car shells in there.
Really, man?
And just all these weird parts. This. No, you got to watch it because the guy's fucking psychotic because he must be one of these, like, I don't know, the fucking Rain Man matchstick cunt for cars. Because someone will throw up just like a mag. You're like, that's a 92 fucking Pontiac fucking series.
Wow.
Like, he's a psycho. And I watched all the series in one day when I was sick because I loved it. It was just great seeing all those different muscle cars again. But, check it out. He does some butcher jobs and he's got him and his fat mate do some real dodgy shit. But it just reminds me of me and you, to be honest. So I enjoy it.
Oh, man, that's great. Yeah, so... Yeah, that's exactly what this guy. So he was around when it started happening. So you got the 1930s Model A, you got the Model M.
That one down there. I think it's that one. There's a guy who I hit up on. There's a drag car series on Netflix once again, and it's this guy in a wheelchair, and he owns one of. I think it's the top left one.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
and it goes under 10 seconds.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like what they do in this series. I can't remember the name of it. So they'll get so it's like sleeper cars. So they'll get a car like that. They'll get a fucking Daihatsu Shiraz or some shit. They'll get a fucking like an F truck that's diesel to drag, and these are all under 10-second cars. Yeah. And then they'll get some rich cunt with a Lambo to rock up who doesn't even know how to do it. Whacks in the launch codes, hits go. And this guy's fucking drag car was the coolest shit I've ever seen. I've got to put these links up on here because that's another great series I've got to fucking show everyone.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So all these,
dude, look at that one to the
war veterans, they do up all these cars, hot rods and stuff.
Mm.
But then, what would happen was, how weird is this, man? Remember that clothing brand Von Dutch?
Yeah, man. I'm from Perth.
Every fucking dork from Perth or Gold Coast wore it.
Yeah.
So
it's like, do you remember what's that fucking one with all the glitter and shit? What was that one?
Ed Hardy. Yeah.
Do you remember Ed Hardy? He was like, yeah, man, I've been to a nightclub in Perth before, can't.
Yeah. Yeah, so man, this is so weird. Von Dutch is actually named after the dude to first do pinstriping on cars. So back when all these hot rods were going and stuff, they had pinstriping on guns and guitars, but they hadn't put it on guitars yet. Cars. So Von Dutch started putting pinstriping on cars. You know that stuff you see on trucks?
Yeah.
These little designs and stuff. So, Ed Big Daddy Roth, the guy who did Ratfink, but this is before he did Ratfink, he started doing pinstriping as well, and he'd do it for like $20 a car.
Really?
On anyone's hot rods, drive them into the garage. And he also worked at a Sears clothing store, like selling suits or whatever. Yeah. But then he started getting that much money that he started like just opened his own garage and was just pinstriping cars all the time. And then he started pinstriping shirts, and he put the Ratfink logo, the Ratfink logo on the shirts because he hated Mickey Mouse. Fucking hated Mickey Mouse. So he's like, I want to draw the ugliest Mickey Mouse possible.
Yeah.
And his mates were like, that is sick. You got to draw it on a shirt. Started selling it for like $2 a shirt.
Yeah.
And he'd spray it on there. And he'd also spray characters of his mates on the shirts, everything like that. But then he noticed that like hot rods were becoming boring, and he noticed car designs were becoming boring. So what he did was he'd get the old motors, the old chassis, and he worked out you could make your own chassis out of fiberglass.
Mm.
So that's when he made his first car, which was called the Outlaw, and it was this.
Dude.
For anyone listening right now, the Outlaw is the weirdest looking car you've. It's kind of like
it looks like the mouse's face. It looks great.
Yeah, it's straight from a cartoon, man. And he made this car himself, and it was when car shows were massive. They were huge. So this car became famous. Like no one had made their own car before.
Jesus, I even the exhaust is coming straight out and fucking off to the back. Just shit, that's beautiful.
Man, yeah, it's amazing. So you got to look it up, guys. The Outlaw. Then he made this one, man. So he worked out right with fiberglass, and you could make it in a bubble shape, right? You could and make it clear. So that's when he made the Beatnik Bandit. So for anyone who doesn't know, it's like a spaceship, like a 60s flying saucer with wheels.
It looks like it's out of the fucking Jetsons.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So he made that car. And also, this car was driven, so the throttle, the steering, the brake were all just one lever. And this was like the 60s, man. Yeah. So
what do you mean? Explain that.
Himself, so it's just one lever. And if you pushed it forward, the throttle, if you pulled it back for the brake, and then you steered it with that same lever as well.
So that's the thing. Is that the thing in the middle?
Yeah, that's the thing in the middle of the windscreen. Yeah.
I don't know if I like that.
Man, it's fucking nuts. And
it's cool as fuck, though. I'll definitely love to drive it.
And then he went on to create Ratfink and became a billionaire, and then just started a whole culture like that. Was
a billionaire.
60s. Oh man, every second shirt was Ratfink. Like it was nuts. Yeah.
Fuck, that's a great rip of the week. That dude is fucking sick.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and he was making cars and stuff till he died. He was signing T-shirts, always at hot rod shows, at rockabilly shows, everything until he died. Yeah, just an absolute nutcase. His vision was to combine cars with Salvador Dali.
I know one of those two things, and that's cool.
Salvador Dali did the melting clocks, kind of.
Oh, that fucking endless time thing. Yeah. That's sick.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So he kept the whole Outlaw thing going, and I bought years ago. I bought the Outlaw to build like a model car of it, but I've got it somewhere and I haven't built it yet. I want to build it one day.
Dude, that's so good. Nick, I mean, I'm going to struggle to top this, but it brings you. Hang on, I've got to really bring her in this week. I got it teed up for once. You know, I'm not fucking good with this shit.
My apologies, guys, if I'm sniffling a bit. I don't have COVID.
Are you sure?
I've got Brovid.
Oh, dude, what's Brovid like? Is that like you just got your nuts out and just fucking sharker and cunts?
That's videos of bros having sex.
That's. My fucking Facebook is frozen. I'm bringing. Sorry, I am.
How does Facebook freeze? Does it know that you're from fucking Forestfield?
No, it knows that I'm so smart. It's like, oh wow, is Bill Gates on here? This cunt's gonna fucking overtake the internet. You fucking idiot. All right, now there's one of our good mates, Brad. Brad's a legend. We've met him in Koh Samui before. He's the dude that we were going motos, and he invited us to go sink piss with him because he hired a Jeep, and he was going to bring the beers, and we're going to fucking sink some beers together. All right, so I found the video on Facebook, which also I'm a fan of this page. And if anyone's not on this page, get onto it. One of my few and favorites is called Truck Drivers Without Borders. Trust me, it's good. Okay? Right. I saw this video earlier the week. All right. Hang on. I've paused it. Can you hear that? You can't hear any of that sound, could you, Nick?
No, I can't. No.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go to my share screen. Truck Drivers Without Borders. It's a great group. Everyone just fucking grow up and start following something cool.
Okay.
How do I fucking share screen again? God, I hate
Just
the internet.
hit the bit on the bottom.
Oh, it says share screen. God, that's
It
annoying.
says share screen.
Fucking shut up. I got to fix my desktop. Fuck off, everybody. All right.
Okay.
Man, now, I'm assuming this is in Western Australia just because of the landscape. Now, before I start this video, obviously, in the front, there's an oversized... Actually, so I'm going to bring it in properly.
It's an oversized truck.
Ladies and gentlemen, no, I fucked up the intro before. I'm going to do it properly now. Nick, I've got this. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got fucking your mate this week. Nick Kappa, this is your mate, right? This is on one of my favorite pages. It's called Truck Drivers Without Borders, right? There's an oversized truck at the front. Of course, I'm following this page. You fucking know it, right? I love trucks, whatever. Grow up, right? There is some tourist in a fucking Daihatsu Charade, a Corolla, fucking Hertz, Getz, whatever the fucking dog shit it is, and check out what this absolute fucking spanner tries to do, overtaking a wide load vehicle, which is probably illegal. Check this guy out, right? Okay. He's got even no number plates on it, trying to take over a wide vehicle. Here we go. Man, soft shoulders in Perth, that's gravel. You don't fuck around with gravel in Perth. Check this out.
Okay, so the car's going
Oh, no. Oh. Ready? Watch this. Yes, Dukes has it into the bush.
Oh,
yes. That is fucking your mate. That is such a your mate, brother.
That is definitely my mate. Like, I can't believe it.
Oh, wait, fuck. Did that just show a kid was driving it at the end?
Yeah, I think that was a video of a kid driving the truck.
Fuck, what was that? Is that a kid driving?
Yeah, some...
Yeah. That's a video that came straight after. That's sick.
Oh, man, that is great. I can't believe that the Daihatsu tries to pass the widest load I've ever seen, then slips, runs into the truck, then goes into a bush.
It's front-wheel drive as well. So you've got wheels doing that, and you're going off at 100. Of course it's going to fucking go like that. Gravel at any stage is a nightmare.
Just be patient. Those out there, I know I've been stuck behind trucks and stuff on a long and windy road. Just be patient.
Dude,
don't take
truck
risks.
Drivers know there's nothing they can do. They're doing a job. So guess what? You're on a country road. At some stage, 10 seconds later, you're probably going to stop and go for a piss or buy a Coke or do something. Have respect for truckies. Pull over if you're that annoyed. Jump on your phone, call your mum for 10 minutes, fucking have a piss, do a shit in the forest. No one fucking cares. Let them do their job, you know?
Yeah.
It's a stressful job driving a truck. Very stressful job. And you don't think that guy knows it? He knows it, and he doesn't care because he's driving a fucking big rig, but still.
Yeah. No, you know, he's got to get back. He's got to fight people.
Dude.
He's got to fucking...
Do you think people are going to get punched in the back of the head while they're not looking?
Man, I wonder
without this guy.
I wonder if Truck and Life magazine is still going. I remember
dude.
I remember at boarding school, because I went to an agricultural boarding school. You know, people be reading Inside Sport because there'd be like a hot chick in the middle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ozbike, brother.
They didn't give a fuck about sporting articles or whatever.
Yeah.
They would just read that. There'd be people like me reading Nintendo magazines or comic books or whatever. But then there'd be some fucking mad dog reading Truck and Life. Like, it's got to be the most boring magazine when you're a kid.
No. But also, like, Truck and Life is like, Jesus, it couldn't be much past 4 pages, could it? You know what I mean? Like, what? Yeah. Drove a big load, reversed it, got sucked off, had a toasty. You know what I mean? What else would you do in the magazine Truck and Life?
Had 40 cans of Red Bull, listened to John Laws for 8 hours straight.
It's like tips on how to efficiently get no-dos through your nostril.
Yeah.
I think, have I told you about Ozbike before? How I used to always buy Ozbike?
Yeah, I think we've talked about that before.
Oh, great. Just because they had the nudes at the back so I can go jack off. Oh,
yeah,
man, so good.
we bonded back on that.
Oh, man, so good.
Oh,
so
mate. Anyway, we better wrap it up this week.
Better wrap it up. It's been a massive one.
Well, we've got a couple of surprises coming soon.
We did
thank
mention
you everybody for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in. We did mention before we're going to drop the Weber episode, but we're going to drop it this Friday. I said to Nick yourself I was going to drop it tomorrow. This needs to go out tomorrow, so we'll do the Weber thing tomorrow. Only because I was meant to buy the kettle Weber, but the fucking we ran out of Mitre 10, and I'm at the helm. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back soon. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all that shit. Follow us on Facebook. Write some comments. We fucking love you, ladies and gentlemen. Until next week. This has been Flat Stick.
Keep a flat stick. Bye.